So, have you heard of Prog-Hop? And if you have heard of Prog-Hop, is Prog-Hop the new metal? Let's talk about it. So as you may know, I'm from the new metal era, so I was, a really formative age when Limp Bizkit, Deftones, Korn, even Incubus, the early stuff was sort of more new metal, and Rage Against the Machine, kind of more rock, but I'll definitely put them in the vein of these people, even though they probably don't like being categorized as new metal, and early Slipknot too. That stuff is sort of my bread and butter. And look, I went on to discover a lot of wide and wonderful things in music that has all sort of rubbed off on me and sort of influenced the sound that my sound that I have now. But it's still firmly embedded in new metal, as you know, or as you may know. Man, new metal is back. New metal is back and it's alive and kicking. And what I like about new metal, or what I sort of discovered about new metal, is that back in the day, these drummers were rock drummers essentially, but they all were fans of hip-hop. Now this is something that I sort of realized over time. All of these drummers swing big time because they are massive hip-hop heads, and the music is sampled from funk, essentially, from the 70s funk, that Clyde Stubblefield funky drummer. So all good hip-hop is sampled from really great drums from the early days, and then that hip-hop influenced this sort of genre of drummers in the 90s that became rock drummers. They all had a beautiful sort of pop to their playing. The production was super tight, so all of my favorite albums from those drummers were definitely sort of the apex of their production. So I would say Korn, Follow the Leader, Deftones, White Pony, Limp Bizkit. I sort of jump between Significant Other and Chocolate Starfish. I think I prefer Significant Other because, I don't know, I think by Chocolate Starfish that almost started to become a little bit of a parody of themselves, unknowingly. Yeah, all of the production from these guys is fantastic, and that's the stuff that I really gravitated towards. Really good production coupled with fat hip-hop grooves in a rock context. And then the world sort of forgot about it. Well, didn't forget about it over time because of the whole MTV thing and Limp Bizkit sort of getting as big as it did around 99, 2000 with the Family Values tour. The people revolted and basically new metal became a bad word. Similar to like people hating on Creed and Nickelback and things like that. Now, I've noticed in the last couple of years in particular the resurgence in new metal. Obviously, Limp Bizkit's touring probably bigger than it ever has before. All these bands are sort of doing the circuit again. Korn never stopped, Deftones never stopped. But I would say that given the success that Limp Bizkit had and then, the hate that they got, they've made a full recovery, if not like seen in a higher regard now. It's almost like we've moved through it as a culture and we accept that they were a great band. Whether you like what Fred is or what Fred says or not, they are a fucking great band. Between Sam, Wes, and John, the drums, bass, and guitar, it's amazing instrumentation. Anyway, I've noticed that resurgence in recent times, and I've noticed it with a lot of bands that are coming through at the moment. So there's a great band from Australia, and their name is... Their name is Brace. And Brace are awesome. They've kind of taken the attack and the slappiness of early Korn, but then applied it to this sort of disjointed Meshuggah type guitars, and it's just sort of fun. And the guy, their vocalist, has a great scream. They have a quirky aesthetic and look, and I don't know, I just gravitate towards them. I really, really like these guys. So check out Brace if you haven't heard them yet. They've just dropped their new album. It's really, really inventive, and it's a lot of fun. So new metal is back, but I came across an artist recently, and his name is Ando San. Or Ando San, I don't know, I'm a Kiwi, I speak with a funny accent to you northerners, so let's just say Ando San. This is Ando. And I love this. I love this because it sort of takes what I do like about bands like Animals as Leaders, Periphery, even Polyphia. Now, I'm not massive on any of those bands. I do like them all, and there's elements of the music that I really, really like, but I'm not some sort of crazy super fan. When it comes on, I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, but I'm not sort of actively searching for it. I like what they're doing in metal. I like what they're doing in changing the game. Bands like Polyphia in particular, like really moving sound forward. Animals as Leaders as well. Obviously, Periphery were one of the earlier sort of gent bands that were doing that, coming out of that sort of Meshuggah wave. But so I respect them all, and I like what they're doing. But what Ando's doing basically takes elements of what all of those guys are doing, all of the best parts that I like, and he's put it into one thing with this sort of awesome hip-hop rap flow to it that he's got. Have a listen.
On my hands can't still, but the contract talking on my mind feeling ill. Young brother making waves in the eyes, but the young niggas tell me what I gotta do. Fly, running to the hills, taking talents where I want. Gotta get that bread if I ever want to stun.
And man, I don't know, when I listen to this, it just gets me fucking amped, eh? Like, I just want to play my drums. So I went and bought his album off iTunes. So any independent artist that I'm really interested in, if I'm listening to it, I always buy it. So I highly recommend that too. These are still people trying to earn a living. So I bought his EP. It cost like $8 or $9. I tried to pre-order his vinyl, but it's already gone because I'm a big fan of vinyl. And I'd love to hear this through the vinyl player. But yeah, there's this one song called I Feel That, and it's only like a minute 40. And when I heard it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can hear some ideas. And with the style that I like, kind of moving through linear patterns with this sort of Morse code type approach, and then trying to find the groove within that. As soon as I heard I Feel That, I could hear grooves sort of forming in my head. And so that's all I want to do today, is just basically have a jam on that track and just sort of show you guys what I came up with to go over his song essentially. So in summary, I just really like where this sound is going. I love this crossover between prog and hip hop. I think some guys have already started experimenting with it in some cool ways, but with someone like Ando, I love all of the elements coming together. Spitting bars, the metal influence, the progressive influence, it's everything that I want. It makes me want to pick up my sticks and it makes me want to play. And after sort of 27, 28 years of playing, that counts for a lot. Now, you may also know that the other day I pulled out a drum that I have not played in a while. This drum here. So this is my 14 by 6.5 spotted gum 10 ply. The company's called Evetts Drums, and it was my first custom snare that I had made for me. And I'd say that I got that at a time when I was still sort of searching for what I was looking for in a snare specifically. And at the time I came across two snares that I really, really loved. The first one was the Sonor Earth snare. So this is a 13 by 5 and it's like a 27 ply from memory. But anyway, the second snare that I really, really liked, that was the 13 that I came across, was the 13 by 6.5 Pearl reference snare. So this thing was a 20 ply and it just sounded like an absolute shotgun. So within a few months of having that snare made, I actually approached Steve and I asked if we could look at a build that was a 13 by 7. That was sort of what I was seeing as the magic size. I said to Steve that I wanted it to be as thick as possible, and he'd only ever gone as far as 10 ply then. So I said, could we go thicker? And he said, yep, but I haven't done it before, so it will be a little bit of experimentation. So we opted for a 16 ply 13 by 7. He chose Blackwood because he reckoned that Blackwood was thick, cutting, massive body. It's going to sound huge, especially when cranked up. So this is what we came up with here. So 13 by 7, 16 ply Blackwood. And this was my first custom snare where I really, really knew what I wanted in terms of size and in terms of finish. And yeah, this snare is insane. It cranks up really, really high. I used it for everything for many years, and I haven't used it for a while just because I've been experimenting with other snares. More recently I've been moving back to 14-inch snares as well, but because I pulled out my other Evetts the other day, I decided to pull this out and I'm going to reskin it. So this has a black suede ambassador on top, probably because that's all I had when I skinned it last, but I just got a controlled sound for it. And I'm going to reskin it, and I'm going to use this for Ando's track that I'm about to have a jam on. But yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reskin this snare, chuck it on the kit, chuck Ando's song on. I'm using Moises to pull his programmed drums off, and I'm going to have a jam to it. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Ando, go check out his EP, and if you can, definitely give him a purchase. It doesn't cost much. It supports independent artists. I haven't even spoken to him myself, but I'm just making sure that, you know, we want to spread the word of artists surviving and getting paid for the work that they do, because it's hard out there, you know. Apart from that, let me know your thoughts of the snare. Let me know your thoughts of the jam over the snare and the groove. And I might even do a slowed down version of the groove without the music right at the end of this clip, just to sort of, I don't know, show you guys what I'm doing essentially. Thanks as always. See you soon.